The garrote. Commonly used as a method of execution in Spain and Portugal in the 18th and 19th centuries, this execution method involved strangulation using a metal collar that is wrapped around the neck of the condemned. The collar is then slowly tightened with a screw mechanism, which in turn will lead to pleasure, asphyxiation, then death. Eventually, the garrote got an upgrade with a large metal screw in the back, so now, in addition to strangulation, a giant screw could pierce and crush the brainstem of the individual, leading to instant death. This method was considered merciful and humane. Wonderful. Impalement. You ever look at a pole vaulter and just think, oof. And that's basically what impalement was like. To explain better, the victim who was convicted of a crime would have a pointed stake forced into their body through the posterior before being raised to let gravity do its thing. There was once a recorded case of a man who was impaled just enough to cause him agonizing pain, but not enough to kill him, and his body was also prevented from sliding down the stake. For hours he screamed for someone to put him out of his misery, until someone eventually did. A victim of impalement will usually die of shock, blood loss, or organ failure. The waist chop. This form of execution was used in ancient China, and as the name implies, it involved chopping the victim in two at the waist. This process was usually done by a skilled executioner, who would intentionally miss the vitals of the victim in order to cause a slow and painful death. One notable figure sentenced to the waist chop was Li Si. He was a writer, politician, and philosopher. One day he got on the wrong side and was betrayed by a powerful political aide, Zhao Gao, who in turn had him executed according to the ancient 5 pains. First, Li Si's nose was cut off, then his foot, then his hand, then his balls, before he was finally cut in half at the waist. Zhao Gao also went on to wipe Li Si's entire extended family to the 3rd degree. And how would you like to die today? Hanging? The guillotine? The Spanish tickler? That one, I choose that one. The Spanish tickler. Yeah. Great choice. Like I could actually die from laughing. What are those for? For tickling. A bit misleading, don't you think? As comforting as the name may sound, it was one of the most gruesome ways to go out, as it involved the victim being stripped and tied to a stake or pole, then repeatedly raked by a curved metal claw, in order to lacerate and tear the victim's flesh. The shock from the pain could kill the victim, and if that doesn't work, the victim could die of blood loss. Boiling alive. This mode of execution involves the victim being immersed in a giant vessel, usually a cauldron or a sealed kettle filled with boiling liquid. And I said liquid because a variety of them could be used, and the higher the boiling points, the more excruciating the pain for the victim. The victim could die of severe burns, shock, organ failure, or drowning.